Good morning. Today we're going to talk about the hematopoiesis. The hematopoiesis is the production of the blood cell and the platelet, and this process is going to occur in the bone marrow, in the adult person, of course. Now, we know that the lifespan of the blood component, either the white blood cell, the red blood cell, or even the platelets, is relatively short. So, they need to be continuously replaced with a new cell. This process is called hematopoiesis. Before we start, we're going to talk about the prenatal hematopoiesis. خلينا نحكي المعلومة ممكن تكون جديدة عليكم بس عملية formation of the precursor of the blood cell is not occur within the embryo. بالعكس عملية formation of what we call the primitive blood is occur through a process called primitive hematopoiesis, and this process is occur in the yolk sac. So it's going to occur in the yolk sac mesoderm, not within the embryo، مش داخل الامبريو، بالعكس في الغشاء المحيط في الجنين. After the primitive hematopoiesis, we have a definitive hematopoiesis. Now, this process is going to occur in an area called aorta gonoda mesonephric region. Aorta gonoda mesonephric region. Now, this area is considered the first place in which the hematopoietic stem cell is going to emerge within the embryo. We have to know that the aorta gonoida mesonephric region is derived from the splenic neck mesoderm. If we magnify the image here, we can see that the aorta gonoidal mesonephric region is contain the dorsal aorta, the genitalian ridge, and the mesonephron. Dorsal aorta, genitalian ridge, and the mesonephron. So as I said, this area, the aorta gonoida mesonephron region, is considered very important because it's the first area that located within the embryo that is responsible for the hematopoiesis or عملية تصنيع الدم داخل الامبريو. Now, this process is going to continue with the aorta gonoida mesonephron region until the second trimester. يعني هذيك العملية بتضل لحد في هذيك المنطقة لحد الثلاثة أشهر الأولى. بعد هيك رح تنتقل after that in the second trimester يعني بالأشهر من 3 إلى 6 إلى الليفر. Then it's going liver and it's going to be associated with the spleen that's going to play a minor role. يعني الليفر اللي هو main player and the spleen is going to help. هسا عنا third trimester اللي هو من 6 ل9 أشهر. هنا البون مارو sorry البون مارو is going to start calcified. لما بيبدأ البون مارو الكالسيفيكيشن تبعه يتشكل تبدأ عنا عملية الهيماتوبويتيك to occur in the bone marrow. يعني بتبدأ عملية تصنيع الدم تصير عنا داخل البون marrow. So in the third trimester the bone marrow of a specific bone مش لكل البون become the major hematopoietic organ in our body. Now we're going to talk about the most postnatal hematopoiesis. During childhood, adulthood, the main part that's responsible for the hematopoiesis is the stem cell that locate within the bone marrow. Now بدنا نحكي شوية terminology that related to the origin and maturation of this cell. And we have خلينا نحكي erythropoiesis, and the erythropoiesis is the process of the formation of the red blood cell. في عنا الجرانيولوبويوسيس. الجرانيولوبويوسيس اللي هي formation of granulocyte leukocyte or granulocyte white blood cell. في عنا المونوبويوسيس اللي هي عملية تشكيل المونوسايت. في عنا الثرومبوسايتوبويوسيس اللي هي عملية تشكيل البليتلتس أو الصفائح الدموية. So we have الليمفوبويوسيس اللي هي عملية تشكيل الليمفوسايت. Now we have to know that the lymphopoiesis, the development of the lymphocyte, is occur in the bone marrow and in the lymphatic organ. Of course, it's going to occur in the lymphatic organ because the precursor cell is going to migrate from the bone marrow to this area. Again, in a brief, so before birth, the first area that's going to form the blood is the yolk sac mesoderm، وهي المنطقة بنسميها البريماتيف hematopoiesis أو العملية بنسميها البريماتيف hematopoiesis. Then we have a definitive hematopoiesis and it's going to occur in the orthogonoidal mesonephric region, and this is the first area in the embryo that's responsible for the hematopoiesis. بعدين عنا بالsecond trimester لازم نعرف إنه العملية سوف تنتقل إلى الليفر while the spleen is going to play a minor role in this. Then at the third trimester لما بتبدأ الكالسيفيكيشن للبون عملية الهيماتوبويسيس or the blood formation is going to move toward the bone. And it's going to remain the major player in the formation of the blood يعني white blood or شو اسمه white blood cell or the red blood cell or even the platelets. And in the adulthood, the stem cells that locate in the bone marrow are the major player in the formation of the blood cells. Now let's talk about the progenitor and the precursor cells. So let's start with the progenitor cell. هسا في أي خلية جذعية رح تنقسم ورح تعطينا progenitor cell. والprogenitor cell هي الخلية اللي is going to divide in order to give us a differentiated cell. هسا progenitor cell for the blood commonly called أو معرف أو بيعرفوهم as colony forming unit. And that because this cell going to colonize of only one cell type when they going to culture or when they going to inject with the spleen. يعني لما بدنا نزرعهم أو بدنا نحقنهم بالسبلين راح يعطونا نوع واحد فقط من أو colony من نوع واحد فقط من الخلايا. Now this colony forming unit أو هاي progenitor cell are four major type. فعنا erythroid lineage والerythroid lineage that's going to give us erythrocyte eventually. في عنا thrombocyte lineage واللي راح يعطينا sorry. So it's going to give us the megakaryocyte and if this eventually is going to end up with the platelets. في عنا granulocyte monocyte lineage وهي راح تعطينا granulocyte كل اللي الوايت blood cell that contain granules in addition to the monocyte. في عنا finally lymphocyte lineage that's going to give us the lymphocyte. Exocrine factors. عفوا هذا نهاية الجزء الأول و... اعذروني على جيكستاكراين فاكتور اللي مش راضية تنلفظ معي. Thank you.